Have you ever told yourself, okay, this is the last time, and then found yourself doing that very thing again the next day? Whether it's scrolling late at night, snacking when you're not even hungry, or checking your phone every few minutes, bad habits have a way of pulling us back in. And it's frustrating because you know what you need to do, but somehow it just doesn't stick. I'm Dr. Tracey Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos to help you strengthen your mind, fortify your brain, and build resilience. Today, we're going to talk about why bad habits are so hard to break, and more importantly, how to actually overcome them. Because here's the thing, breaking bad habits is about understanding how your brain is wired. And once you get that, you can start working with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it. Let me start by debunking a few common myths about habit change. Myth number 1, I just need more willpower. It's a common belief that breaking a habit is simply about having more self-control. But here's what the science actually shows. Willpower is unreliable. Some days you have plenty of it, and other days it just disappears without any warning. Neurologically, willpower lives in your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, impulse control, and decision-making. But habits, especially the ones that feel automatic, are stored in the basal ganglia, your brain's autopilot system. So when you try to override a deeply ingrained habit by sheer force, you're asking your conscious brain to fight an automatic system that's faster, older, and stronger. And in a high-stress, decision-heavy day, the automatic system usually wins. That's why changing your environment is more effective than relying on motivation alone. If you want to stop checking your phone, put it in another room. If you don't want to eat so much sugar, don't keep it in the house or don't have it within easy reach. Small adjustments in your surroundings can remove friction and help your brain make better choices without needing to power through every time. Myth number 2, if I know it's bad for me, I should be able to stop. This one feels logical. If you know something isn't good for you, why would you keep doing it? There's a huge disconnect between rational knowledge and automatic behavior. So even though you may logically understand that smoking, procrastinating, or binge watching until 2 a.m. is harmful, your brain isn't weighing these risks in the moment. The reality is your brain prioritizes immediate rewards over long-term benefits. When you're faced with the choice between the immediate pleasure of a bad habit and the delayed benefit of not doing it, your brain's reward system heavily favors the here and now. What's in it for me now? This is why behavior change often requires outsmarting your reward system. Myth number 3, I just need to eliminate this habit completely. Sounds good in theory, right? Just stop doing the thing, cut it off at the root. But that's not how the brain works. Habits are built around well-worn neural pathways that expect a certain reward, often triggered by a specific time, place, or emotion. If you simply try to remove the behavior, your brain is still left craving the reward that it was anticipating. So substitution is a far more effective than elimination. So take this example. Let's say you have a habit of pouring a glass of wine as soon as you finish work. That ritual isn't just about the drink or the alcohol. It's about the shift from work mode to relaxation. If you try and cut out the wine without replacing the ritual, your brain still feels like it's missing something. But if you replace the wine with a non-alcoholic drink in a nice glass, change your clothes, and sit in a different chair, you're giving your brain a new routine that still signals the workday is over and now I can unwind. The cue and the reward need to stay the same, but the behavior changes. And that's the key. It's not just about stopping the habit. It's about rerouting it in a way that still feels satisfying for your brain. Now let's go a little deeper because behind every behavior is an identity. And this brings us to the identity trap. Many of us have self-concepts built around our habits. We say things like, I'm a night owl. I'm an emotional eater. I'm terrible with routines. These identity statements feel like honest descriptions of yourself, but they're more than that. They're prescriptions for future behavior. When you label yourself as someone who always procrastinates, You're unconsciously giving yourself permission to keep procrastinating. Your brain works to maintain consistency between your actions and your self-image. So what can you do instead? You reframe the identity and update your self-concept. Instead of saying, I'm a night owl, try, I've gotten used to staying up late, but I'm learning how to protect my sleep. Instead of, I have no self-control, try, I'm practicing better decision-making in the moment. It's a subtle shift, but it matters because when you change your identity narrative, your behavior begins to align with that new story. If you want to do deeper work on your narrative identity, take a look at my workbook called Unlock Your Story Digital Workbook. It can help you identify some of the stories that you tell yourself and understand how you view the world. It's a digital download that you get immediately and not a physical book. I'll have it linked to this video. Another major factor keeping bad habits alive is cognitive distortions, those sneaky thought patterns that justify continuing the behavior that you're trying to stop. One of the most common is the just this once rationalization. Your brain is incredibly persuasive when it wants something, convincing you that one exception won't matter in the grand scheme of things. But here's what's happening on a neural level. Each time you make an exception, you're actually reinforcing the habit loop rather than breaking it. You're telling your brain that the rule isn't absolute, making it easier to make exceptions again in the future. All or nothing thinking is another distortion that sabotages habit change. When you slip up once and think, well, I've ruined my streak, so I might as well just give up completely, you're falling prey to perfectionism. Your brain likes clear categories, but real habit change is rarely a perfect linear process. Then there's false permission giving, creating believable excuses to indulge. I had a hard day, so I deserve this. Or I'll start fresh on Monday. Everyone else is doing it. These thoughts feel reasonable in the moment, but they're just your brain's way of getting what it wants. Learning to recognize these thinking patterns gives you power over them. When you catch yourself saying, just this once, pause and ask, is this thought helping me become who I want to be? This creates space between the urge and the action, allowing your prefrontal cortex to engage before your automatic habit takes over. Now let's move from theory to practice. I'm going to give you 5 science-backed strategies to help you rewire your brain and give you a better chance at long-term habit change. Number 1, environmental design. Make the habit harder to do. Add friction. Want to stop doom scrolling? Delete the app or log out so it takes longer to access. Want to cut back on snacking? Store treats in a cabinet that's harder to reach. Even small changes like these can interrupt the automatic loop. Next is implementation intentions. These are specific if-then plans for handling habit triggers. If I feel stressed, then I'll take these 3 deep breaths instead of checking my phone. If I'm tempted to procrastinate, then I'll work for just 5 minutes before deciding if I'm going to continue. Research shows that having these concrete plans give your mind structure and increase follow-through. Number 3, the replacement rule. Swap the old habit for a new behavior and decide in advance what it's going to be. So this takes some pre-planning. The replacement should satisfy the same underlying need. For example, if you stress eat for comfort, perhaps a short meditation could provide similar relief. Or if the need is self-soothing by putting something in your mouth, try sipping herbal tea while mindfully observing your environment and using all your senses. Number 4, habit stacking. Link a new behavior to an existing routine. After I make my coffee, I'll write down my priorities for the day. Or after brushing my teeth, I'll stretch for 1 minute. You're using what's already automatic to make something new easier to remember. And number 5, the 10-minute rule. When a craving hits, tell yourself, I'll wait 10 minutes. Most urges lose their intensity with time. This gives your rational brain space to catch up and regain control. Finally, let's talk about setbacks because they will happen. Relapse isn't failure, it's feedback. Your brain is in the process of rewiring. Every time you return to the new behavior after you slip, you're strengthening the right pathway. It's the return, not the mistake, that builds resilience. Instead of seeing a lapse as proof that you failed, treat it like data. What triggered it? What thought patterns were active? What can you do differently next time? Even just asking those questions puts you in a learning mindset, and that's where real change happens. Let's quickly recap. Breaking bad habits is not about moral strength. It's about the following: understanding your brain's wiring, recognizing the identity stories you tell yourself, noticing the thought distortions that justify the behavior, and using practical tools like habit substitution, implementation plans, and environmental tweaks. In the next video, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about how to build positive habits that actually stick and how to make them feel natural instead of forced. But for now, here's your action step. Think about one bad habit that you've been trying to change and identify the cognitive distortion that you most often use to justify it. Is it just this once? Or is it, I'll start Monday? Write it down and then start noticing when it comes up. And that awareness alone begins to weaken its grip. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you in the next video.